me just minimize that. So thank you for the introduction and for letting me speak at Tableau Fringe Festival. If you told me I was doing this even a year ago, I would be very surprised. I've actually volunteered to do this today. Nobody's forced me to do it. So as you said, it's been a very exciting year for me. I've got a new job. I've become a Tableau social ambassador, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around. It all seems a little bit unbelievable to me. And I work in Ella Warsdale's team, who's just spoken. So I genuinely feel like the luckiest person in the world. I also get to join in with the EMEA training sessions run by CJ Mays, which is amazing. I've met loads of my heroes who work at JLL, and I met loads of them at Tableau Visit, and it's been a really amazing year for me. I'm very lucky. So for me, learning and development was very important. When I made the decision to pivot my career back to analytics after a 15-year break working in the service industry, I was 45 and I'd taken an entry-level job as an operations administrator. Technology had moved on an awful lot. Offices had changed an awful lot. And it was really hard for me not to compare myself and my progress with my colleagues and other members of my team who seemed to retain information much more easily and advanced much more quickly than me. And at the time, I thought it was because I was older and I was struggling to learn. But in retrospect, I think it's because I was very, very nervous and I was a bit out of practice. So it's really good, as I've spent my learning for the last year, to realise that I am actually more capable of learning and development, even though I'm older, than I thought I was. So I was initially hired because I was good at Excel, and for almost the entire year I was creating management reports in Excel until I had a really good conversation with the Chief Information Officer of the company, who suggested I might be interested in learning Tableau as a more visual aid to the tool. And he gave me a very quick crash course in it, and then he went back to London. I live in Hull, so the only person I knew who used Tableau was about 200 miles away from me. So how did I learn how to use it? I was very baffled that he'd suggested I use this tool. I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never seen anything like this before. Excel was the most technical thing I'd ever used. And I started off with e-learning, the same as most people do. E-learning, anything I didn't understand in e-learning, I Googled, I watched YouTube videos, I bought myself a book. I think it is Practical Tableau by Ryan Sleeper, which gave me a lot of the answers I was looking for. And then at the very end of 2019, I went to an industry event in London. So this was the first time I'd actually met other data people at all. And I went with the Chief Information Officer, and I was very nervous. But it was so inspiring. I heard all these people talking about how Tableau had changed their careers, how it had helped them move their businesses forwards, how it had shown people what the data was actually telling them very, very quickly and easily so they could make decisions. And I left this feeling very inspired and committed to learn more, to get more engaged, and to do more within the community. And then the global pandemic hit and we went into lockdown. So this was a bit of a weird time for me, because I worked in a life insurance company and our work absolutely trebled. So if anyone else has ever worked in a life insurance company in the middle of a global pandemic, there's a lot of work to be done. Luckily, I had some very, very supportive managers who were really keen for me to continue my Tableau learning. And they suggested I went to the Tableau conference-ish, which I did. And they asked me to take notes and see if there was anything we could use in the business. So I sat there and I watched as much as I could and I absorbed as much information as I could. And I didn't know anything about Tableau conference at this time. So this was my first experience of it. And it was a bit of a weird one because there was a lot of people talking in the chats about how it wasn't the same as meeting people in person and how it was very unusual to meet people online, and they were talking about data fam. I had no idea what this was. And they were also talking about things like Makeover Monday as a weekly social data project to help you to learn your skills and get feedback from other people and really advance your learning. And also Workout Wednesday to hone your skills again. And then I heard about Thursday trainings at 3. So this was a bit of a pivotal moment for me because this was free training from the Information Lab that you could join at the time every Thursday for 2 hours between 3 and 5 p.m. And luckily, again, my boss was very supportive and let me do it. So I was very, very nervous the first few I did. Luckily, you don't have to be on camera. You don't have to have your microphone on. And I didn't manage to follow along for quite a few of them, but they were cyclical, so you could repeat them. So if there was something you missed one week, you could go back a few weeks later and it'd probably be coming back round again. They ran 4 at a time and you'd pick the one you wanted to go to. This really advanced my learning. I couldn't believe that people actually offered this for free. So far I'd got free training from everything that the community had put out onto YouTube, all the webinars, from a free industry event, a free conference, and loads of free training. And this was quite eye-opening for me because I didn't realise this stuff was out there at all. So Makeover Monday was my goal. I really wanted to have a go at it, and I was very, very nervous. Most people who are listening today probably have heard of it already, but if you haven't, I've somehow managed to create a little thing on the left, which a QR code, which you can then scan and it will take you to the web page. But my partner bought me a Makeover Monday book in 2019 Christmas. And it opened my eyes. I saw these amazing charts and I could read about what was good, what was bad. And it was really inspiring, but it also was quite intimidating for me because I kept thinking, I can't ever make anything like this. I can't join in with this. This is far harder than my skills are actually going to enable me to participate in. And I really struggled trying to get the confidence to post anything online. I didn't start participating until March 2021. So what was taking me so long? Why was I so nervous about this? I think I was worried that I was going to be exposed as an absolute fraud, that everyone would think, you can't get your figures right, your analysis is really poor, your viz doesn't function properly. And I thought I would be judged on that and I would be pushed out of the community or not given any more chances. And I didn't want people to think that I was a fraud. I had very little self-confidence at this time. And then I posted my first ever Makeover Monday, which it's not very good, but I was so excited. And it was just this terrible line chart. And it had a dynamic title and a parameter that changed the viz, changed the title. And I spent ages trying to write a paragraph about it. And I hovered over that post button for about 20 minutes before I posted it. And then when I did, it was so exhilarating. I can't believe I posted it onto Tableau Public. I posted it on Twitter, like it said to do, on the website and in the book. And I tagged people in it. It'd taken me ages to make it, so I didn't get any feedback, and which was good because I think I probably would have just fallen over in fear if I had. I was very, very excited to have posted it, so I immediately messaged the Chief Information Officer of the company, sent him a picture and a link of this dreadful viz, and he was so excited for me because he couldn't believe I'd had the confidence to do it finally. And a week later, I received a big book of dashboards through the post, which was my prize for being so brave, as a surprise from him, and I was absolutely over the moon. So what happened when I posted this feed? Did the world explode? Did I get thrown out and exposed as a fraud? Nothing like that. Absolutely nothing happened at all. I got 2 likes for this on Twitter. I got 1 from my partner and 1 from a very, very kind person who continues to follow me today and likes a lot of my stuff. And he'll never know how much he encouraged me at that time. But just getting 1 like from the community was absolutely incredible. So I obviously needed to improve. I'd heard about Watch Me Viz that Andy Kriebel ran every week, where you could watch him actually make a viz and do the analysis, create the calculations. So I started doing this, and I started picking them apart and watching them and learning new skills and trying to understand the calculations. Things I didn't understand from the Watch Me Viz, I tried to Google. So I did 6 vizzes in a row, and I was absolutely hooked on this. I couldn't stop. I was learning more and more each time. So they might not be the best vizzes, but you can clearly see already there's progression between the first one and the 6th one. By the 6th one, it was my birthday, and I took a whole day off and I tore apart the Watch Me Viz. I sat there for the whole day, picked every single last bit about, copied every single calculation, tried every single viz that Andy had made, put the dashboard together, and then created my own dashboard. And it was a comic chart. So I did something really exciting. I gave it dark mode, so it looked like comets flying across the sky. And I made buttons, and I was really excited about it. I thought, right, it's time to meet the community again. I'm feeling more confident. So I joined this round table in Tableau Live 2021 on the 6th of May. And apologies to anyone who might be watching who is in this picture. It's not the most flattering picture. Thank you, Simon, it's your screenshot. And I don't think any of us came off well from this at all. But I've kept it on here because this was an incredible moment for me. I met all these people, we talked about data viz, and you can look at the enormous smile on my face. I was so happy. I couldn't believe I'd had the courage to do this. So in this picture, you have a girl called Amy Beckett on the right-hand side, who had just become a data analyst, which was the dream. So very, very inspiring. There is Hitesh, who joined up with me on LinkedIn, follows me on Twitter, we follow each other, still likes my vizzes, and I've joined other roundtables with him since. Obviously, there is Lorna, who was my absolute hero at the time because I had seen her vizzing live, making mistakes, and then fixing them live in Tableau user groups. There's Sarah Bartlett, again, my hero. I'd seen her talk live on stage, and she was so inspiring, and I couldn't believe that I was in this same round table with her. And Simon, who ran all these projects and was running this round table. And also Laura from Tableau, who I didn't meet until this year, but now I have met her 3 times, and I didn't realise that I'd already met her at this round table. So this was a real pivotal moment for me. A really good part about this was that Sarah actually acknowledged that this was a difficult thing to do. So the whole roundtable was about why community projects will improve your Tableau skills. So we were all partly being helped and participating in community projects. And for me, it was very difficult to find the time. So like I'd said, my work had got really huge, and I was really struggling to find the time. Luckily, it was still mainly locked down, so I had a lot of free time that I could free up for it. But Sarah said, this is hard for all of us. Some of us have families, some of us have full-time jobs, and we have to carve this time out and actually make time for our own self-improvement and to engage with the community, because what we get back from it is more than what we put in. And that resonated really loudly with me. And then Simon told me, Simon looked up all of our Tableau public profiles. He couldn't find mine first of all. And then he said, oh, has yours got the dark viz as your promoted viz? I'm like, yes, it has. And he said, keep going. We all make really bad vizzes when we start. And if you look at the people's profiles that you like and go right back to the beginning, you'll see they've kept them on their profile, because then you can see a progression. You can see how they've gone from bad vizzes to really good vizzes. And that progression is what inspires people and encourages them to continue engaging and working on their progress. So this was great for me. It was great and inspiring that he thought that I could progress further, but also it was telling me that this viz I thought was really good. It's not that good. It's probably not that good. Let's just keep going. So I took their advice. I carved out some time like Sarah had suggested, and I continued, and I kept vizzing, and I did another makeover Monday every single week, and I kept doing them, and I was very, very slow to viz, and I kept trying to improve my speed, and I got I got a little bit faster, but I never really got any feedback because it was at the end of the week. So my first constructive feedback came from Lindsay Betzendahl, who again was one of my heroes, who posted a response to one of my tweets and said, "Good Viz numbers, keep it up." So I did. I practiced every single week. I tried to engage with the data fam. I noticed that my learning was starting to pay off. So learning all these different visits in Makeover Monday and analysing all different types of data set was helping me to practice and build my confidence with looking at data. And something amazing was happening here. I stopped worrying about whether I could analyse this data, and I started wondering how I was going to analyse the data, and that was a really huge change for me. And at this point, I started to draw inspiration from the wider Tableau community. I was downloading workbooks, reverse engineering them, trying to work out how other people had put them together, how they were organising their calculations. I tried to stretch my skills by following blogs, tutorials, joining as many Tableau user groups as I could online. And I also started using Tableau as a tool for ad hoc analysis at work, which got me noticed by the management at work. And I could quickly make a density map, even though I couldn't analyse it in SQL. I could draw the data into Tableau and have a look at it, which was very powerful. And then this happened. And thank you so much, Sarah. I can never thank you enough for this. At a moment when my confidence was starting to dip again, I got this Tableau FF from Sarah Bartlett. So for anyone that doesn't know, Tableau FF is a Tableau Follow Friday, where people who you absolutely love in the community try and promote newer people and get people to follow them on Twitter and on Tableau Public. And this meant the world to me. And she also called out my solar power plant viz, which made me smile, because this wasn't going to be this viz. This was a Sankey chart. And then just before I was about to post it, Twitter had a big explosion about how terrible Sankeys were. So I didn't dare post it. So I stayed up all night on a Saturday night and revisited it into this one and posted this one instead of my lovely Sankey, which was very beautiful. So regular practice, continued learning, starting to pay off for me. It's building my confidence. And then it stopped. What do I do now? Immediately after this Tableau Follow Friday, the next Makeover Monday was announced as the last one while Makeover Monday went on hiatus. What am I going to do now? There's so many other data projects out there, but this one was really good for me. I really enjoyed the regular weekly practice. I enjoyed the space it gave me and the time it gave me to actually analyse and learn and get interested in different types of data. And I was mortified. I didn't know what to do. Thinking, okay, I'm going to have to try something else. It's going to take more than a week. Am I going to be able to keep it up? And then Takafumi Shikuya to the rescue. He started a new project going backwards from when he first started Makeover Monday. So I was all over this. I really wanted to do it. It was very different. I didn't know what it was going to be like because it was going to be less people involved. And a lot of the stuff that I got out of Makeover Monday wouldn't be there. But what did we have instead? Sorry, I'm going backwards instead of forwards. So we had the same diverse data sets. These are the Makeover Monday data sets. So we still had that analytical and research practice. So you could still do the same vizzes. But this time you could see what had been vizzed before. You could see all the vizzes in the community. You could take your inspiration from them. You could start using new techniques because Tableau had moved on quite a lot in the last 2 years. And you could perhaps use map layers or perhaps use a different kind of technique to actually bring these data sets to life. So that's a whole new dimension to explore this data. And for me, this was a really safe space, and it gave me the time and the space to actually start exploring design a bit more, because I didn't feel like I was throwing out my analytical idiocy into the data fam. I was actually throwing out ideas and exploration. And doing this gave me a supportive micro community, and regular weekly practice helped me do this. I made all of these vizzes. So while my skill and confidence was growing, so had my Tableau Public portfolio. Simon was right, keeping the embarrassing early vizzes really did highlight growth and development. And our small but very committed circle of participants had supported and encouraged each other's growth and development. to build all these amazing videos. And I was really sorry to leave it this year, but because I had a new job, I had a lot of other things going on, and I really needed a break to take on new challenges. So I've left this project with improved confidence, new skills, new career, a sense of belonging, and one of the most incredible supportive communities in the world is now something I understand. So I do understand the data fam. So how do I feel about Tableau now? I'm using it every single day. I love it. I still love it. And if anyone wants to ever talk to me about Tableau, it's very difficult to shut me up. I'll go on and on and on. And that's the end. And this is where you can find me